Hi, welcome to High Road to You. This is Mark Stofer, and I want to share with you something that really, really made an impact in the life of my children. And that was this, is that when we had dinner together, I would have my kids, I have four kids, and they would get a week each for doing the dishes. So they would clear the table and do the dishes. And I made it a point not to overwhelm them because as a child, I was overwhelmed with my life, with my mom, single mom, the four of us sharing a two-bedroom apartment. It was a horde fest. It was just disgusting. It was hazmat. It was pretty bad. So there was also the worn carpet from the front door to our bedroom, and we were growing pot in our closet. We were dealing drugs, and we were doing a lot of things we should not have been doing at that age. And the house was a complete train wreck. It was embarrassing, I really want to say. And then with my grandparents, when my mom would lose her apartment, and she would have these relationships, and the person, she'd bring home from the hideout or the double vision, and she liked to drink. We called them barflies. They would melt into the furniture, that we had, and it didn't end well. It never really ended well. So basically, we'd end up at my grandparents, and then they had just a horde of crystal and china and just stacks of stuff in the house. And then in the back was another storage area of just more stuff than you can imagine. There was a lot of shoplifting. There was a lot of insurance scams. There was a lot of identity theft with my grandmother and my aunt. And my grandfather, threw his hands up and he would get on a ship 9 months out of the year. So I was overwhelmed maintaining my grandmother's stuff. And it was just toxic. It was really bad. At that age, I wanted to go have time to play with the friends at the park just 2 blocks down the way, and do other things other than just moving stuff around. So with that, I became a minimalist, and I found a way to separate myself from that. And I tried to work smarter, not harder. So this is where I instilled in my kids. One is I didn't overwhelm them. I tried to make it so that their room was simplified, so that top drawer shirts, underwear, middle drawer shirts, and then bottom drawer pants, and they would have a laundry basket right beside. They did their own laundry, and so it wasn't overwhelming. So if I said clean your room, it's like 10, 15 minutes, done. We had a closet so that was where their sporting goods would go because they played sports year round. The coaches like the manager, the boss, the teammates, the coworkers, the people in the stands are the customers, and they learn life lessons because if they don't put 100%, when they put their foot on the field, everybody lets them know it. So I can't tell you how valuable that was. So we had a routine, come home, the chores were done, then the homework, then the sports, get to practice, play games on the weekend. And it really did make a difference to build a foundation for my kids to be healthy, nutritionally healthy, physically and socially healthy. Synergistically, that gave them a foundation to have resiliency, navigating life's challenges, life's storms. So with that, they're young, they're business owners, they're very successful in their 20s. My son just bought a business, 21, and they're very well sought after. They understand how to operate equipment. They understand how to do underground. They know electrical, plumbing. They're not afraid to dig into things, and then also bring people in that specialize in certain areas where they need help, and they work alongside them. So I always, would say you work smarter, not harder. And I think most kids are so overwhelmed just looking in their room, they don't even know where to start. And even if they did, they can work in that room all day long and it would still look like a disaster. And I think we do our kids a disservice, truly. There's over 7 million men in their prime not working, and I think a lot of them can't even figure out how to get up and clean the room. And I think that the Western culture just piles, the consumption of materialism and consumerism. It's not healthy, especially raising kids. It's not healthy. And, with that, if we bought anything, if it collected dust, leaves, or rust, we weren't using it, I would get rid of it. I bought things used, and then I would enjoy them. We bought an aluminum boat, and we went whale watching and fishing, and they just want to drive the boat all over the place. We take the lakes and the ocean, and it was an adventure. It was an amazing adventure. And then when they just decided that wasn't their thing anymore, they started riding motorcycles at a huge, massive park, and that was their new thing. So the boat, we sold it, and I made money on it, actually. So, there's just so many options out there to navigate life so that you don't get overwhelmed and consumed by stuff. And then especially if you have a boat, it's got to run, right? It's got to work. Everything's got to work, from a car, from bumper to bumper, getting down the road. It's got to start. So if it doesn't, then it's got to go. And that was just how I raised my kids. And I wanted them to understand that we're not here to serve our stuff, and that life is an adventure. Now they have a world perspective. They're traveling all over the world, doing mission trips, building houses in Mexico, or they're teaching English in Bali, my middle son, going to Africa. And so that's the potential, right? But they have to have the foundation. They have to have the work ethics. They have to understand how to work smarter, not harder. And the last thing you want to do is overwhelm them with just stuff, this stuff that, they'll never use, never wear. They have to step over the piles of stuff. They have to push it off into the corners of their room, under the bed, I just wish you would strongly, strongly consider that that is not a healthy path. And I grew up in it. I know it very well. I separated myself from it, and I just swore to myself I wouldn't do that to my kids. And with that, I hope this reaches your heart and your mind, and I hope that it gives you the inspiration and courage to potentially take the actions that you might need to take in your life and set those boundaries. And I know it can be hard. I know. I really do. I really, really do. But there are resources. There are resources. And working as a team can be difficult. I know. I got rid of a lot of things, and my kids, I said, tell me what's missing. Tell me what it is that you don't have, that came out of their room or was in the garage or in our house somewhere. And I just spring cleaned, and I would put it in these huge bags or boxes, and I would put it somewhere else up in the attic where it wasn't. And then over time, those things are obsolete now because they didn't say, hey, where's my trumpet? I was in music and I missed my trumpet. But if they did, I can go get another one. It was that simple. You go to the Goodwill, you go to music stores, secondhand stores, you go to online. I mean, if you want to collect things that you have to have for whatever reason, you're going to find it. It's out there. There's out there in abundance. So don't be too concerned about, throwing something out and then realizing that you might actually want it. It's not hard to come by. One time my kids said, hey, you got rid of the Spirit video. It was a VHS cassette, and I went to the Goodwill and bought it off the shelf for $1, while I was running errands one day. It's not that complicated to navigate, the purging of stuff. And with that, I hope this message finds you well.